Well, as the issues in Alice Springs hit the national headlines this week, someone who has emerged as a strong voice for the people is local business owner and manager of the Facebook page Action for Alice, local baker Darren Clarke. He joins me now live from Alice Springs. Darren, I mentioned this at the top of the show. I visited Alice almost 30 years ago. I've been back many times since, having worked in politics, but every time I go back, I think it gets tougher and tougher. You've lived there for 20 years. Are we overreacting to what's been going on, or is it worse than we think?
Oh, definitely not overreacting, and we're definitely not exaggerating here. And it's probably worse than what we're showing you, because there's a lot of stuff that I actually can't show on my page. Otherwise, the social media will close me down. And there's a lot of stuff that you can't show on normal TV.
The PM was there yesterday. Did you get a chance to have a word with him? How did locals react to the visit?
No, I didn't get a word with him. Virtually just went to Congress and then straight to the council and had his meeting with senators, ministers from Darwin and the mayor. There's a few police there, I think, tourism. But yeah, the general public didn't get a chance to talk to him at all. But
all right, well then, how did
they're not happy with what's gone down.
Yeah, well, tell me about that. How did you assess his? Please.
It's another token gesture. They've come up again. This is what happens every time. Now, I reckon, Peter, what they've done here, they've actually flown in and they've all got around the table and they've actually looked at each other and said, "Wow, so what are we actually going to do here?" You know, no one's come to the table with a plan. There was talks of restrictions last week, rumours of that. But they sat down and all they had in the end was to throw some buckets of money around, go back to services that have proved that aren't working and been proven, and let's put some alcohol restrictions in, because everyone's mentioning alcohol apparently. So we've gone nowhere, we've gained nothing as a community. But the children up here in the Northern Territory, the children up here on the streets of Alice Springs, were they mentioned in that, Peter? I didn't see one of them mentioned in the whole announcement. Nothing to save the kids, make them safe, get them off the street, better their lives. Nothing about that. Nothing about protecting the community here of Alice Springs. Let's have 2 takeaway free alcohol days. Do you actually think that's going to change what's been going on here? Do you think that's going to stop the 13-year-old walking to Woolworths with a machete? It's not going to do it. It's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut youths being dropped off cars by adults and breaking into houses with weapons. And I'm talking tomahawks, axes, star pickets, hunting knives. Like, where does this stop? Now, I can tell you though, alcohol restrictions aren't going to fix this. They are not going to fix this.
Tell me about your business. Tell me about your bakery, how you have personally been impacted by the crime.
So I had a shop in the mall, and that got done about 30 odd times there, around 31, 32. We moved that, we closed that down and actually just paid rent for 6 months and got out of there, because the mental turmoil and the emotional distress that we were suffering just wasn't worth it. And my staff weren't safe coming to work early in the morning. So I just went, that's it. Paid rent every week, 12 grand a month rent every month. And we saw out the lease. I opened a new business and we've been done about 6 or 7, 8 times there. Then I've been done at home. I've had home invasion where both the cars are stolen. You know, one week we had, you're not going to believe this, like we had business break-ins for 3 nights. Then the home invasion, 2 cars stolen, and then the cops actually knocked down our door and apologised. They were nearly in tears to tell us that our business has been broken again on the 4th night. The frontline police here in Alice Springs are totally overwhelmed. They're understaffed, and the government here keeps denying they're understaffed. They are. But They are dealing with our health workers are getting attacked when they leave. There's nurses that are walking out of the hospital of a night to the car park or to their accommodation and they're getting assaulted. There are doctors the same. We're in crisis here like you've never seen before. And the sad thing is they fly in, they spend a couple of hours here and then they go. It's
Darren,
it's just a shame
Darren, I
job.
promise you, Sky,
Use an Indigenous.
We're not going to let this issue go. We've been talking about it for many, many months. We've listened to people like you and others who warned that this would happen when the bans were lifted, and that's exactly where we are. I have to leave it there, I'm sorry, but I will be speaking to you again. Darren Clarke, thank you.